Excuse me. I interrupt this broadcast for a message from my soul. I am a divine child of God and I deserve to have everything I love. Hi, this is Christi Karate with Christi's Clarity. Again, Friday at 10:10 to share with you some insight into how to really create the life that you love living. So that phrase is actually, excuse me, is the title of a song. You can find it on YouTube under Irene Boggs. She's an amazing, positive musician, singer, vocalist, amazing person. And today I'm going to use her song to share with you how you can really change your thinking to change your life, right? So we are in chapter 5, those of you who have been following along, of my book called Beyond the Box, Creative Thinking Expanded. And one of my favorite things, this is not out of the box thinking, this is beyond the box. Who wants a box anyway, right? So, Chapter 5 is on value. And we've talked in the last couple of weeks about some things that are really important about how to check out what your values really are, some questions to ask yourself if your dream is worthy of you, and my favorite tool, the law of sacrifice. Now you have to go back to last week and see what that means, right? So, but today we are talking, I'm giving you the tool for the month. So in this book, there is the law and a tool for practicing to do this work. And so today we're going to talk about the pause and repattern tool. So one of the things that I do is I help you create, so you want to set up a method using a timer on your phone, your little old phone. Just go to your clock here, and you see down there that you can set, you have to go to your calendar. Sorry. You go to your calendar, and on your calendar, you can set an appointment to give you a reminder, and it can actually be like a sound reminder. It can go off with a certain ring, and you want to set that for like 3 times a day and when it goes off, you want to just stop for a minute and think, what am I thinking right now? What are my thoughts? And you can ask is it leading me to the life design that I have for myself, the direction in which I want to be moving, or is it taking me away from that? And the second question is, does it align with my core values? And of course, we've talked this month about how to discover and live from your core values. So that, and then you want to think the replacement thought. What is it and that's easily done by looking at your life design. Where are you moving in life? And if nothing else, go to gratitude. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. So, but today what I wanted to share with you is this tool that I created once upon a time. And I made a whole success toolkit. And this was one of my favorite tools. And I actually got Irene's permission to use that song because let me tell you the story about Excuse Me. So there was a woman, her name was Karen, and she had like manifested having this great and wonderful house to house sit in for like 6 months or a year or some long time. And she started to go out and walk from that house, and she started to hear the chatter in her head. Well, you've got this whole house to yourself. That seems like a waste. And why are you the one to deserve that? And what about all the poor people in China and blah, blah, right? The chatter just started up. And she's in this work. She's in this press. She was. And all of a sudden, she stopped herself and she said exactly that. Excuse me. I interrupt this broadcast with a message from my soul. I am a child of God and I deserve to have everything I love. Now, let's take that apart a little bit. Okay, so realize it is a broadcast. It is a frequency, and generally it comes from your subconscious beliefs, the things that are ingrained in you that don't even know that you're running them. Okay, I had a huge experience of this yesterday when when I realized that, yes, it was a thought that I'd had many times, maybe an understanding, but it was a deep realization how the idea that of failure was still in my programming, and that came from my mother, my father, my grandmother, and on up through the ancestors, right? And even though I've done this work, even though I had confronted that or done that, obviously I realized it was still running me. And so in that moment, I paused and I went to what is the divine truth. Well, the divine truth, if you think of the divine, you can call it God, you can call it Buddha, the universe, whatever you call it. It is only working for, we'll call it expansion, for a greater good, for a greater creativity of creating things that has never been created before. And if that's the truth, how can I be exempt from that? So I interrupt this broadcast, right? The frequencies I was letting run me without even knowing that they run me. And I paused myself. I interrupt this broadcast with a message from my soul. And if you are in love with something, and then you go back to the 5 questions that I talked to about in this earlier in this month, does it give me does it go back and listen to it, does it align with my core values, does it cause me to grow, do I need a higher power, is there good in it for others, then, and you measure what you would love, what you would desire. Now, there's 2 kinds of desires. There's the desire, which is, I wish I had what they had. It's envy. And then there is desire, which is the divine through you, wanting to express itself in a greater way through you, right? And so I had to pause and go, oh, there's this old belief. And then the repatterning is more important. You know what? After you do this work a lot, you don't even have to go back and figure out what the events were, what you just know this is not taking you in the direction of your vision or your dream. So what is the new repatterning? I am a child of God and I deserve to have everything I love. Why do I deserve it? Because I am the divine in expression. And why would it want anything less but creativity, joy, happiness, bliss, right? And so this week's tool is to remember to stop and repattern. Now, I want to address one of the really hard things that come up in this. And I have this discussion with people all the time. It's like, yeah, but I'm in pain, or there's a lot of bad things that are happening in the world. How can I just go, okay, la-di-da, I deserve to have everything that I love. Okay, if you practice that thought and you get it in you to where it feels that even when you think of catastrophes in the world, the blessed people of Ukraine that are in so much pain and suffering, instead of seeing them in pain and suffering, I can move my thoughts to right now in this moment. I send the greatest love and power. And that makes a greater shift in the possibility and potential of those people than it does for me to go, oh, those poor people of the Ukraine. Now, that doesn't mean I don't take action, but I take action from a place that is for something and against nothing. Thanks for coming and checking it out today. I'll see you next week, Friday at 10:10 with Christi's Clarity.